Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, and I'm super excited to see you. I just flipped the calendar. Where did September go? I don't know. It just disappeared. And I have to tell you, when I saw Tina's projects, I was like, it's so early for Halloween. Yeah, really, no, it's not. So guess what? We got good news. We gave you early enough time to work on these, which maybe I'll actually get my things finished this year. That is my goal. That is my goal. And Tina's going to laugh because I still have a Halloween bag from 2 years ago that isn't finished. So it's on my bucket list. So welcome everyone. Say hi. I see you all rolling in. So great to see you. And let's bring Tina up to the party. Tina, how are you?
I'm doing so well, Angela. How are you doing?
I'm just really excited for these Halloween projects because they look super cute, super easy, and I'm pretty sure I can get them finished by the end of the month.
That is absolutely true. I try to pick some things that were quick and easy because, we all have lots of things going on. And we're going to be looking at some of the cool new editing capabilities in the Artspira app. So I'm excited to share that too.
Very exciting. So it's the beginning of the month. I haven't even checked my phone. Did the new catalog come out?
I don't know.
I have to check while you're on there because for all of you that have Artspira, it's a free app to put on your phone or your tablet. And there's also a paid version, but every month they always have something really cool. And I did not look to see if there was a new update yet today, but it will be sometime this month. So this is going to be exciting. So what do they need? Because we are live streaming and we can see all your comments and questions. So yes, you can ask questions today and we'll answer them live if we see them. And, but we're live on the sewing and the crafting page because you're using a lot of fun things today.
Oh yeah, some Artspira, the ScanNCut, and the sublimation printer. And we're going to be doing a bunch of different kinds of materials because, depending on what you're working on, sometimes you want to use heat transfer vinyl, sometimes you want to use adhesive, and sometimes you want to put sublimation on something that you might not think you could, but you can.
Oh, this is going to be exciting. So I actually just received a mug press. I just bought a mug press, which is not a Brother product. You all know that, but you got to have it for the sublimation printer. Oh, yeah. And I have a whole box of goodies that I'm dying to play with. So I'm going to let you take it over and I'm going to take notes, but not too many because you really did us a big favor today.
I did. I put a little handout together. So y'all, when you're listening and I talk about how to apply all these different materials, I did put together a handout for you as a guideline, and Angela will have it posted and available to you as a download. So listen in, but don't get writer's cramp writing all that stuff down. All right.
For sure. And also don't forget, guys, if you're watching on Facebook, be sure to follow, like, and share to your page and you can go back and watch it. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe. All right, Tina, I'll let you take it over. I'm going to get your PDF uploaded and tell them where it is at the end of the show.
Okay, perfect. So right. Our first project is going to be an embroidery hoop with a design, Halloween themed design using, wait for it, glow in the dark heat transfer vinyl. So let's take a quick peek at the finished project with the lights out because this product is amazing. The amount that it glows is incredible. So we'll just take a quick little peek here.
Okay, I'm dying to see this. I'm like, it's like, wait for it.
All right. Hold on one second. I have a printout. You want to just go to printout? I'm talking to my cameraman. I gave him 1,000 new instructions for this morning, so he's working real hard right now.
Yeah.
All right. So let's look at it here in the overhead camera. So this is what it looks like when the lights are out. Isn't that incredible? I mean, literally, I had it in my sewing room and I finished it. I left it on the cutting table and I went through the room in the dark to let the dog outside. And literally, I could see where I was going based on the glow for this glow in the dark heat transfer vinyl. It was really pretty cool. And then with the lights on, it looks like this. Isn't that fun? And it's
that's really cool.
It's not fun, and it's super quick and easy to do. And I mean, you could do this on like a trick-or-treating bag for the kids, or you could do it, on the embroidery hoop, or it would actually be a really fun t-shirt to wear out when you're trick-or-treating with the kids. Wouldn't that be fun? All right, so let's pop into our Artspira app and let's see how we make the magic happen here. So just a quick little orientation in case you guys haven't used the app a whole lot. This is the home page, and you'll notice at the top under the word Explore, we can kind of scroll through and access embroidery designs and cutting files for the ScanNCut, printing designs for the print mode and the sublimation printer, projects, templates, and even educational videos. So there's lots of great content in here. Now I use the ScanNCut for this project, so we're just going to pop into our cutting designs. All right, and then you'll notice that we have holiday, we have all these categories, and I basically pulled my design from under the holidays. And then if we give it just a couple of seconds here, we can scroll over until we find Halloween. And there's tons of Halloween content in here. And let me show you real quick. I saved the designs I'm working on today in my favorites, but in case you don't know how to save things in your favorites, let's look at this one real quick. Isn't that spooky for Halloween? And then at the very top of my screen, can't see it under the banner, but there's the little heart at the top, and you just press the heart and that saves it into your favorites category. All right. So then to retrieve your favorites, again, at the very top of your screen, above where you can see my search bar, there's a little heart and a square. So when I touch that, I'm in my favorites, and I'll simply go over to cutting designs, and I'll scroll down. And the design I used for this it's called the Halloween Cushion Project Pattern. All right. So we'll click it in here. Now you can see there's some things that are in this particular pattern that I didn't use in my final project, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how you can edit all that out. So to get started here, we're just going to say create, and then it pops open here on my 12 by 12 inch cutting mat, which is perfect. And when I select it by tapping on the screen, you can see that it basically came in as a grouped object. And so that means even though you see a house and a bat and a moon and a word, right now the app sees it as a single object. So I need to ungroup it. And that's really easy with some of these new editing tools. So at the bottom of the screen, just tap on select, and then you can see in the middle is the group icon. So here you can see group, and I'm just going to touch on that blue square that said grouped, and now it's ungrouped. You can see they're separate objects, and I'll hit the little check mark here to go to the previous page. All right. So at this point, all I have to do, I'm going to set OK at the top, and then I'm going to start selecting and then scrolling across and deleting at the bottom the elements that I didn't use for my project, right? So how easy is that? So now let's go ahead and take house and bat, apparently that's hat for me today. So we'll just take our house over and get him centered kind of in the bottom of our screen. And he's kind of crooked for me right now. So what I want to do is rotate him so it's a little more straight up. And so that's done by pressing the layout key here at the bottom. And then if we look at all the cool things we can do here, we can move them up and down, left and right. We can resize them, we can rotate, we can even flip them. And we're going to talk about flipping a little bit later. But to straighten them up, I need to go to the left. So I know because I've already done this, that it was minus 12 degrees to kind of get them straightened up here. All right, so that looks good. And to finish this, I'll just hit the check mark here. And now I'm going to grab my bats and I'm just going to kind of move them into place. You know, they're flying all around that haunted house for Halloween. And then we'll grab this one. He's kind of ginormous right now, so I'm going to make him a little bit smaller and kind of get them in here. And the cool thing about bats is you don't have to be really precise about where you put them because they fly in all kinds of places, right? So that looks pretty good. So now what I need to do is I need to add that giant moon in the background, right? So let's hit OK at the top. And in order to do that, so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to have a circle of that glow-in-the-dark HTV, and I'm going to cut the house and the bat out of it, right? Because if you remember the finished sample, those are black, and what you really see is all that light coming in from the moon, right? So that's also pretty easy to do. We'll just hit the plus sign at the bottom of the screen, and then I'm just going to scroll through my categories until I get to the one that's called shapes. Now, we looked earlier, and by the way, my little headband that I'm wearing today is this first one here. Super cute. I just cut it out of cardstock and then punched a hole on either side and cut a rubber band in half and knotted it through. So if you're looking for a quick Halloween headband, that's a good one. But you'll notice that I also have access to my favorites. So in the shapes or in this category, all the things that you see here with favorites are things that I selected and put the heart on. So we're going to fill this circle in right now. So this is going to be our moon, and then we'll say done. So when it comes in, you see it's teeny tiny. That's not the size that I need. So let's just touch it to select it, and then I'll go back down to the layout tab here, and I want to resize it to 6 1/4 inches based on the size of my embroidery hoop. So you notice I'll just come over here and put 6.25. Gosh, that was easy, right? Now that we can actually enter in the numbers, it makes that super quick, right? So I'm done with this part. Now I'm going to slide my moon down so that the bottom of my moon is about even with my little house here, just like that. Now you might be thinking, well, how's she going to get that stuff cut out of the circle? But wait, because I promise it's pretty slick and easy. Oops, I moved my circle when I was talking. All right. So now we're going to go back. Remember the select one we used a second ago. So let's try that one again. And this time we're going to say select all. I want to basically select everything that I have on my screen. So now you can see that it selected everything. And now you have the option over here to the right that says overlap. So when we press it, we have two, welding and then dividing. So the first one here would basically just, I would end up with just a circle. That's not what I want. I want the second one, which is divide. And that's what's basically punching a hole in the circle for me. So we'll say, okay, to check, come out of here and okay here. And now you'll notice that when I pull my circle, see how it's got the house and all of that cut out of it? That's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So then all I have to do is come in here and then delete out the elements that I don't want. Whoops, in my final design, let's leave the moon in there. That would be great. I'm trying to get this one little bat here. Let me get the stylus here. We'll get that guy. And that's really all you have to do, right? So we'll delete him. I'll delete this little guy down here. And then I have, and you'll notice there's a funny shape there. That's my third bat. So let's go ahead and get him out of there as well. And now I have my final finished design ready to send over to the ScanNCut and cut. So we actually did some fairly complicated stuff right there, but the new editing features that are in the app made it super quick and super easy to do. All right. So at this point, this part of my design is done. Of course, if you wanted to add and we're not going to add the letters here, but if you wanted to add the letters, right, you'd say, okay, and then it would be T for text, and then you put in your happy Halloween. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm done with the design here. Now I've already saved mine, but for you guys at home to know, you can move forward with cutting it without saving it. But if you think you might want to make, several bags or a t-shirt next week or whatever, go ahead and save it. And then you can just pull it back out of your saved designs. But I'm going to put it here. So I've connected the Artspira app to my ScanNCut machine. You can see that listed here. And in order to send it over there, I'm simply going to press the transfer key here. And I get a little message that tells me it's overwriting the data that was in that temporary pocket. And that's fine. So just know it's going to persist one thing at a time. So we'll say OK here. And we'll get a little message here that the data transfer is complete. So let's pop over the ScanNCut real quick and see where we are there. All right, so here I am at my ScanNCut. I'm going to go back to the home screen here. And I'm ready to retrieve my data. So basically go to retrieve data. Now I send it from Artspira. So when I go to retrieve it, it's going to be from the cloud pocket here. So we'll simply press right there. Oh boy. And of course, then my machine says it's not connected. Let me try that one more time. I tested all this morning. This is what happens. I'm
just making sure we didn't. Tina, are you still there? I was like, wait for it, wait for it. Where did she go? All right, hold on, guys.
You go live.
Coming back, Tina.
All right, give me a second here.
All right, Tina, are you back?
Oh, here I am. Did I disappear?
You disappeared. We didn't see anything on the ScanNCut. It was kind of like just there, and we're wait for it, and then boom, it was gone.
Okay, let's try it again. I seem to have a little internet hiccup because I was having a little issue over here too. So let's try it again. Oh yay! Well, see, you guys waited just so you can see. Oh no, so I'm gonna have to reconnect the Artspira app to the ScanNCut. Let me show you something really quick. So it's because I had a little Wi-Fi glitch here. But basically, once the design, I would pull it up out of that cloud pocket. And I'm just going to pull up another design. We'll use it as an example here. So let's say we had this guy here. So this is where we would start. It would show up here on my home screen. And then heat transfer vinyl, you use your standard mat. That's the one with a purple header and footer on it. And you can either use your standard auto blade or you can use the rotary blade to cut it out. We are gonna, this one we didn't have to mirror because we didn't have any letters in it. If you do have letters, remember to mirror your design. And then if you have a small piece of material and you're trying to make sure that your design's right on it, you can use the scan feature here, which will take a picture of what's on your mat. And then you'll just move your cut file so that it's on your material. And then you'll say, okay. And then we'll tell the machine what to do. So we want it to cut. Now, with heat transfer vinyl and with adhesive vinyl, those are 2-layer materials. And so in the settings, we want to make sure that this half cut feature is set to off. And if you don't know how to do that, simply come in here and then you're going to scroll down to the next page and there's your half cut. And you want to make sure that it's on, right? Because you want to cut through you want to cut through the vinyl, but not through the carrier sheet. And most of the time this auto pressure is exactly what you need here. And then just say, okay. And then you're ready to hit start and it'll cut it right out for you. So I already cut this vinyl. Let's look really quickly at what we have. We're gonna have a little bit of exciting noise here while I peel this off. All right, so there's my design. Oh, and by the way, since it's been upside down on the mat, look at all the glow that it picked up from being kind of in the dark. I have to excuse the glare here a little bit, but isn't that cool? Super quick, super easy. And again, when you put it on that black background, the black shines through and it looks like it's actually illuminated from within. Isn't that a fun project?
I love that. I love that, Tina. So a couple people were asking when yours right there just disconnected. Some people said that sometimes they have theirs disconnect in a certain way. As far as I have had that too, not very often though. And someone said it's different with my printer and my sewing machine. So I don't know about you, but every once in a while I have an update go through with my internet and I have to reset everything. But for your case, you're live right now. And when I'm live, I cannot make it work when I'm live. And so for everyone watching, part of this could be because she's live right now. So I just know when I'm live, I can't get any of that to work because my internet's busy doing this. So I just want to put that in as a disclosure.
It's the little gremlins. Typically when I have a problem like that, I'll just basically re-register the cutting machine to the Artspira app, which takes just a couple of minutes and then we're back on board. But yeah, but so it really is.
You had that saved to your machine already, didn't you?
Well, actually, I had a different one saved in my Cloud Pocket, but it is not cooperating for me right this second. So we have a couple minutes
because they were asking you. Some people were like, do I have to go back and do that? No. So Tina's always got extra little things in her back pocket in case the gremlins come out. So hopefully that helps you all on that. All right, I'll let you go back. If you freeze again, I'll let you know.
Okay, perfect. All right, so just really quickly, so you guys will know, I want to show you, I put together a little handout for you, and it'll be something that you can download later. But as it's basically a highlighting some of the application instructions for the materials that I'm using today. So this glow-in-the-dark HTV, again, if you have lettering or anything else, mirror the image before you cut it. Otherwise, it won't say Happy Halloween. It'll say something else entirely that I can't read. And then we'll pre-press your fabric for 2 to 3 seconds, and that just removes the moisture from it. And then you'll apply it at 305 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. And that particular product is a hot or a cold peel, so you can kind of take off the transfer tape however you want to. Now, having said that, that reflects the particular product I used. I put it up here in the instructions. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions for whatever products you're actually using on your product, but this is a good general guideline for how to work with a product like that. All righty. So
hey, while you show that real quick, why don't I show them how they can get this? Because Tina's so great. She left this for you where you can download it. So all you all have to do is go to where you look at the calendar. So let me just bring this up real quick for you. I'm going to drop it in the chat. Go to angelawolf.com. I uploaded the video or the PDF for you, and I'll just bring this up to show you how to get there. And it's super easy. I think you guys are going to like this. Okay, here you go. When you go to the website right here, and there's Tina back with us. It says classes and events in the top right. Click there on live shows. This is where you see where I put all the brother shows. Here's Tina's 454, episode 454. Scroll down. You can watch her video on replay. I made it super easy. And all you do is click right here. And guess what? It'll open, and there it is. And you can download it or print it, whatever you want. So Tina, that was awesome that you sent that, and very easy for everyone to find. And also you can see who's coming up on the next brother show while you're there.
Nice. I love that. I love that. So next I thought maybe we do a quick little sublimation project using a little easel, right? So this would be a perfect project to set out on the countertop in the kitchen, or maybe on one of the coffee tables in the living room. So we'll start by looking at our finished project, and then we'll go through how we actually make it. So let's take a little gander here at our easel. Look at that. Isn't that adorable?
Oh, that's cute.
He basically started out life as a plain little white easel, right? Poor little sad baby, but we're going to show you exactly how to get him all decorated up. So really, really quick and really easy to do in the Artspira app. All right, so let's pop into our Artspira app for a second, and I'll walk you through how we make this little guy. So this time we are working with printing designs. So when I pop into favorites, I'm just going to slide over here to where it says printing designs. And again, you're going to find most of these designs under the holiday Halloween category. So if you're trying to find all this cool stuff later on, start in the holiday Halloween category, and you're going to find most of those. So I love this pumpkin. Look how cute he is. He's just got all those little polka dots. He's super cute. So we're going to come in here and we're going to hit create. All right. And that gets us our little pumpkin. Now the easel, I have to resize my workspace, or this white area on the screen here, because the last thing I want to do is make it super big when my easel's kind of small. All right. So to do that, you can see at the top of the screen where it says A4 landscape. I'm going to do the down arrow, and then I'm going to click on custom size. And now I'm going to enter the size for my easel. So he is just a little bit under 5 inches. And by the way, when you do your prints for things that have edges for sublimation, it's good to give yourself a little bit of extra space, right? So he's actually like 4.75. And I'm giving myself a little bit of extra printing area so that I don't end up with unexpected white borders around the edge. It's called ghost printing. So just remember that, increase your measurements by just a smidge so you don't end up with white borders. So once I get those measurements in, I'll press create at the top of my screen. And now this has become much smaller. So now I'm going to take my pumpkin here and move him in. You see he takes up a ton more real estate on my page. So let's take our fingers on the screen, and we'll just resize him so that he fits a little bit better in our area. And you can notice I got him a little off kilter here. So I'm going to straighten him up really quick by going to the layout button. And my gosh, I use this one all the time. Under rotate, I put reset to 0, and now he's all straightened up again. And then we'll say okay at the top. And then I'm going to say add. So that's the plus key here. And we're going to printing data because there's this adorable little spider that's in the app. So he's under illustrations. All right. And I saved him to my favorites in printing. So there's that adorable little spider here. Well, he's kind of the adorable huge spider right now. But we're going to fix that in just a second. So we'll highlight him by touching on the screen and kind of move him into position here. And then I'm just going to pinch him in until he's a little bit less terrifying in size. That looks kind of cute, right? So now let's go ahead on this one and let's add some text. So I'm going to come up here to the top and say, okay. And then you'll see now at the bottom of the screen, I have a T, and that's what we're going to press for text. All right. So here I'm going to type out happy. So just on your screen, happy, and then done. All right, and then happy's kind of right here in the middle, so I'll grab it so it's highlighted and drag them up to the top of my page. Now that looks fine, but there's another font that I actually like better. So to change the font, you'll notice at the bottom of my screen, I have another T in fonts. We'll just tap there. And then it's in the bakery font. I'm just going to scroll down to this Beyond the Mountain font. It's one of my favorites that's in here. And then we'll say done. So there's my happy. I like the size, right? But we're going to add Halloween. Now I could come out, do okay, and start over again. But a quick little shortcut is come down here and scroll over to the duplicate. And then you have number or tile. I'll just leave it for number. I want to make a second copy of that. So I put 2, and you see I have 2 up at the top now. We'll do the check mark. Now with the second happy, I'm just going to move him down so that he's under Halloween. Okay. And then I'm going to hit T for font again. This time I'm going to touch the little keyboard icon up here. And then I'm just going to delete out part of happy and put in the rest of my letters for Halloween. And what this does is it allows me to have that second word in the same font and also the same size without then having to go in and change those parameters. So it's kind of a fun little shortcut. So I like that. So now we have Happy Halloween. We're looking pretty good. I might move my spider. You guys, you can play around with where the spider is 100 times. But he's kind of plain, so we need a little bit of a background color for him. And so the way that we're going to do that is we put OK at the top. And then do you see at the bottom, I have the T and the plus, but I also have the piece of paper. So we're going to go to the one that looks like a piece of paper. And then we're going to choose the gradation option. So these are really fun ways to add background colors to your project. And you get all these cool effects like the little circles or the ombre effect. And there's so many different choices in here. Look at all these cool colors. But the one I picked was this kind of acid green one down here towards the bottom. Isn't that cute? I love that. All right, so at this point, our design work is done. So we'll say done. Now, again, at home, if this is something that you're going to make again another time and you don't want to have to redesign it, you would save it. I've already saved it in Artspira, so I'm not going to resave it here. And I mapped to my sublimation printer. So you see that's what shows up here, the Brother SP1. And do you notice that when I came in here, can you see how my text has been mirrored? Because when we print in sublimation, we print on a piece of paper, and then we basically turn the piece of paper over to do the printing. And so if we don't mirror with things like letters, most of the time, we won't get what we want. And so basically then we'll just basically say print, and you'll see it sending it over to the printer. And it's basically told me that my data transmission is complete. So I can say okay here. Now I went ahead and it's going to print again, but I've already printed one out. So let me just grab it from the printer. And then let's come over to the sample table and let's talk about how we finish this. Okay. So here's our printout. Now for me, you'll notice that again, it's a little bit bigger than my easel, but it's kind of hard to see exactly where you are. And then I'm going to want to take this and do some other things. So typically when I'm printing something small like this, I'm going to get out a pair of scissors and I'm just going to cut away some of the excess white. It just makes it easier for me to get my my prints aligned with my project. So we'll just cut some of this off just like this. Now you notice I still do have a little bit of white borders. And then for your sublimation blanks, you can get finger smudges on them or they could have dust or some other things on it. So clean them off with alcohol wipe, or if you wear glasses like I do, I actually use the lens wipes that I use to clean my glasses. And you'll just give it a good clean. Make sure you get all the finger oils and whatnot off of your blank. All right. Once that's done, give it a couple seconds to air dry. And then you'll basically put your print here. Now, in this case, because I have the little bits of white, it's actually useful to put it on upside down and then use your heat transfer tape, which is what you now see on my finger. And then I'll just tape that on here so it's not going to move in the printing process. All right. So now it's ready to go to the to the printer. If you haven't done sublimation printing before, the way sublimation works is the special ink, you put it in the heat press and it turns into a gas. And then the gas is going to permanently bond to the polyester coating that's on this particular sublimation blank. But when the ink is in a gas state, there is a possibility that it could stain your heat press. And so I would always recommend that you put parchment or butcher paper under what you're printing and over it while it's in the heat press. And that way, if there's any kind of off gassing of the ink, it'll go into the paper instead of onto your heat press. All right. So on this particular blank, I pressed it at 385 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 seconds. And of course, be careful once it comes out of the heat press, use your heat gloves or something to pick it up so you don't burn yourself. And then you just kind of remove the printed design in one smooth movement. And then you have your adorable little decorative easel that you can put out for Halloween. Isn't that fun?
Tina, that is so cute. Everybody's commenting. This is such an easy, fun project. They absolutely love it. They love it.
Well, and the best part of it is, right, from start to finish, you're talking about maybe 5 minutes, right? So most of the time we can always find 5 minutes.
Yeah, I kind of like the 5-minute project. Someone had a quick question. Now, I've been using my printer not as often maybe as a lot of you guys on the live shows, but I have been using it. I leave it plugged in and turned on all the time because someone was saying, how far does it go before your ink dries out? I'm thinking a really long time because I mean, I'm just thinking of any general. I have a lot of brother printers as far as the other side. I've never had one dry out. So, and I don't use them very often. Or, you know, I use them, but not a lot. Do you have any advice on that?
I think the pink, blue, and yellow, if I'm not mistaken, will do 1,500 pages, which that's quite a bit of sublimation printing. I had the first set of inks in my printer, and they went to our product launch, so they were used a lot when we launched the printer. And then I used them. I sublimation print a lot for probably 7 months before I had to change a color. So they last forever.
That's a long time. And also, I'm asking you because when you guys do your training and everything, you go through a lot and you do it over and over and over. I'm just doing it for projects. So that's a great reflection there for you, Cheryl. Cheryl Squirrel. I love that name, Cheryl Squirrel. Oh, Maxine, actually, did you guys hear the clink? Maxine's knocking on the door. Look, my squirrel looking for nuts.
Oh, that's funny. I noticed in that last question, she asked how often she would have to use the printer to keep the print heads from drying up. Generally, for the sublimation printers, you should leave them plugged in and turned on all the time. And then periodically, the printer will go through a maintenance routine. And that's what keeps the print heads from drying out. It really doesn't use up much ink, and it assures that when you're ready to use the printer, it's basically send the image and go.
Yeah, and you know what, Cheryl? On top of that note, the printer that I received, not the sublimation, but the I just lost the name of it. The Prince Fabric. Hello.
Oh, Print Moda.
Yes, the Print Moda. I received one that had been used quite a bit through the whole lineup of, video and things like that. And when I received it, I didn't use it right away. And I put in the ink and I used it. And all of a sudden, it wasn't printing color. I downloaded the I went to the Brother website, downloaded the driver to my computer. It did an update and boom, it was there. So that's the key. Leave it on because it will. Every once in a while, I hear it in the corner. Not very often, but it'll be like, it's like having a little handyman. I told Winnie he's losing his job.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
All right. Anything else, Tina? Because you've got so many cute things.
Oh my gosh, so many more. So next I thought we'd do a quick little candle wrap using some adhesive vinyl. And you can get these candles really inexpensively at the discount stores. And with just a couple minutes and some adhesive vinyl, you can theme them for Halloween or, birthday parties or whatever else you want to do. So again, this is going to be a cutting file. So let's pop back into Artspira. And I'm in my favorites tab again. And again, we're going to scroll over here until we get to cutting designs because we're going to use the ScanNCut. Now I did a couple of things. I used a frame that I measured it so it would fit on my candle. And then I picked another design. So we're actually going to do some editing and combining a couple designs for our little composition. So we're going to start here with a rectangular frame. And that's kind of cute. So we'll just create at the bottom. And then the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the size. And so I need this guy to be 7 1/4 inches. So 7.25. Whoops. Hello, phone. 7.25. And then you'll notice that the aspect ratio is on. So as I made it taller, it made it wider. I'm actually going to make it much thinner. So I'm going to turn the aspect ratio off here. I guess I should have done that first. So 7.25 again. And then we'll go down here, whoops, to the width. And I'm going to make the width 2.15 inches. So 2.15. All right. And then we'll say save. So you notice now it's long and skinny. And then it's 2 frames that I actually only want to use 1. So again, I'm going to go to the select tool and I'm going to the group option and I'm going to ungroup these. All right. So now they've been ungrouped. Say OK at the top of the screen. And then when I select on here, you'll notice now I can separate the inner and the outer frame. So we're just going to get rid of the little one here. So we'll highlight it on it and then we'll hit our delete button. So there's our frame for our candle wrap. And again, that's about the size for the front of the candle. So we'll say, okay. Now we're going to add our second design. So plus, and again, this one's going to be in holidays. And my favorites are going to come up here. And we're just going to scroll down until I find the tombstone with a ghost. Oh, look how cute that is, right? That's perfect for Halloween. And we'll say done. Now you notice that that's kind of too big for my frame here. So I can highlight it and scrunch it down a little bit, see about how it fits. And I can do that again with my fingers on the screen. And I can also move it down here more towards the bottom. But I also, you can see, got it crooked. So remember I said the layout and then the rotate reset to 0 was like my favorite button. I use it all the time because I am like the queen of crooked. So at this point, I want it to be taller. I want it to fill up more of that vertical space, but I don't want it to get any wider. So I'm going to turn off my aspect ratio again, and I'm just going to scroll. And you can just hold down the plus button and you can see how it's getting taller and taller and taller and taller. I'm just going to let that keep going until it looks like it's a good size for my candle wrap. Oops, let's see. Let me move that up now. We can come up here, move it up and that. All right, until I get it exactly the way I want it. Oh, I got it too tall. All right, so now we'll just crunch them down a little bit. It's fun. I mean, it's so quick and easy. I do this all the time when I'm waiting for appointments and on a long call. I'm always designing something else new. All right, so when you get it the way you like it, and I like it the way it is right now, we'll say okay, and then we'll say okay. All right, and we're done. Once again, save or don't save. I'm not, because I've already saved it. And I can send it over to my ScanNCut, all right, just by pressing the transfer button. All right, so now I've already cut this one. So let's pop over here to the sample table and let's see what we have here. So again, here you can see that I cut out the adhesive vinyl on the low tack mat because adhesive vinyl actually has a paper backing on it, right? So it's been cut, I've weeded it, and then I've placed transfer tape on top of it. And that's what's going to allow me to lift it off of the backing and then put it on my candle. So if you've not done this before, it's not hard, right? So here's the one that I finished, right? You can see how cute that is, right? And here's the one that we're going to put it on. So again, this is one of those that with adhesive vinyl, it's a good idea. Take your alcohol wipes or whatnot and give it a good clean to get all the finger oils and other things off. And then basically you can use your brayer tool. Sorry, I'm going to hop in here and get this. Oh, you can use a credit card, an old hotel room key, the brayer tool, and kind of make sure that that transfer tape sticks on there really well. And then what you're going to want to do is turn it over and then carefully remove this backing paper from the back of your design and just kind of take your time here. Go nice and slow. until you get that off. Now, the hard part about using adhesive vinyl is it's not very forgiving. It's basically, when you're doing this particular method, you got one shot to get it on here correctly. And so you really want to take your time here and make sure you have it exactly where you want it. I normally start in the middle like this, and then on something round like this, I would just use my fingers to smooth it out. And what you're trying to do is make sure you don't get any air bubbles in there, and you get it stuck on there really well. And then you can take, again, your tool to help, again, get it adhered really well. Make sure there's no air bubbles under there or anything else. And then you're just going to gently start lifting up the transfer tape and peeling that away, just like this. And if you see it pulling up a little bit, like you can see on this one side, just follow it with your fingers to get it back down on there. And sometimes if you change the angle that you're removing the transfer tape, that makes that part easier as well. And that's it. That's how quick and easy it is to make a cute little candle wrap to decorate your house for Halloween. Isn't that fun?
Oh my goodness, Tina, that is so cute. And I'm saying that it's super cute because on top of that, with that, I'm just getting ideas for Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays. What an easy way to do that. I love it.
Isn't that cute? Yeah, it's really fun. It's again, my theme for today is projects you can get done in probably 5 minutes or less, right?
Love the 5 minutes or less. We'll even go with the 5 minutes or less. Okay, let me see what questions we have for us on here. Everyone's saying thank you so much for the download. If you missed how to download it, you can go back and watch at the beginning, but basically just go to angelawolf.com, click on the events at the top, live events, go to Tina's episode right here, 454. You can watch the replay on YouTube, and you can also download the sheet that she gave you. So much fun. Yeah, I know. I agree. I never thought of it either, Kathy. She never thought of putting heat transfer on. Super fun. Okay, there was one question. Teresa wanted to know, did all of this come out of the Artspira app? She missed that part.
100% of it is all content in the Artspira app. Yep.
All right, Kim has a question. What's the newest Brothers ScanNCut model?
We have two that are out right now. We have the 330DX and the 325DX. So the 330 is the one that has the Disney designs on it, and the 325, everything's the same except it doesn't have Disney content.
Thank you. I knew you'd know that one. Kathy says, or Kathy Ann, sorry about that. Tina, do you leave the printer plugged in all the time? Otherwise, the ink could get gummy. Is that correct? No, I wouldn't say gummy, but we leave it on. So go ahead, you explain it.
Yeah, so what can happen sometimes and this is true for your office printer at home too, but if you use it, right, there's ink on the print heads, and then if you unplug it and it doesn't have the opportunity to do the maintenance cycles, that ink can dry on the print heads, and then it can negatively impact your printing. So if you leave it turned on and plugged in, then the printer automatically has a maintenance cycle, and every once in a while you're not using the printer and you'll hear it making some noise. It's doing the little maintenance to make sure that the print heads are clean and good to go for your next printing.
Excellent. And Kathy, you haven't even taken it out of the box yet? Girl, you got to get that thing out of the box. Well, if you haven't taken it out of the box, you're fine. It's when you have it all set up and the ink is all in it. So, but you need to get that out of the box. There are a lot of great projects to do before the holidays.
Yep.
Oh gosh, everybody's saying, yeah, by the way, I see some of you here that I know are in some of the areas that the hurricane went through. So please know, happy to see you here. That means you're safe, but we've definitely been thinking and praying of all of you. What a mess. Sharon says, Tina, this is one of the brother treasures. Oh, thanks. Sharon says that too for both of us. Oh, that was sweet. There's a heart right out of Sharon, you're awesome. Okay, where can you get a ScanNCut? Well, I'll tell you what, if you go to brothersews.com, look for your local brother dealer, and that's the best place if you want to get one of those newer models that she talked about. Plus, they probably have one in the store that you can play with.
It's so true.
Yeah, everybody's saying they love their SP1. Oh, Lorraine, I was like, MySpace. I don't think we have that anymore. Not a brother product either, but I love and then I was thinking maybe your sewing space. Oh, it's the SP1. You got it, Lorraine. Don't you love spell check? All right. Any questions for Tina? What great projects. All right, Tina. I think that was it, wasn't it? Because that was a lot. Or do you got more?
I got more, believe it or not.
What? Okay, I'll be quiet and let you take it away. I'll just monitor the chat.
All right. All right. So next I thought we'd do something really fun. I think we've all seen the sequin mermaid pillows, that you can move your hand and they change colors back and forth. Well, some of those are perfect for sublimation. So I thought next we do a quick little sublimation sequin pillow patch. Well, that's a lot of alliterations.
Wait, you need to say that fast 10 times.
I give up. I can't do it. I can't do it once. All right. So really quick, let's pop into our Artspira app and let's start with the design process. So this is going to be a printing project. So we're going to scroll over here to printing. And again, you can find this design under holidays and Halloween. So look how cute that is. Happy Halloween. What could be more fun than that? Now, I know I measured my sequin patch and it's a 7.5-inch round circle. So just keep that in mind as we go through this process. So there's this cute little design here. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to resize this guy to 7.75 inches, right? So remember, we're trying to get that little bit of extra space so you don't end up with white edges. So 7.75. All right. All right, so there's that guy. So that's done. Now, my patch happens to be round, right? And I can't see through the paper when I'm placing it. So it'd be really awesome if I had a guideline for placement. So what I did is I just went in here and did add and then printing data. I went to basic shapes and I grabbed myself a circle because again, my patch is a circle. Now I can't see it right now, but let's go ahead and highlight it. We'll go to the fill and the line, and let's go ahead and pick this acid green that shows up on top of it. And then I'm going to go to layout, and I'm going to resize this to the same size as my patch, right? 7.5. Well, let's see if I do this. Let's try that one more time. 7.5. All right. So then basically, we're finished with our design work at this point. I'll say, okay. We'll say we're done. And then it's ready to go to the sublimation printer. It's already been mirrored for me because, by the way, print settings, and we'll need to know this for the next one, mirroring is automatic when you send things to the sublimation printer. So you don't have to remember it. You only have to remember if you need an exception. So we'll send it, just hit print, and it's going to go to the printer. But I've already done that. So let's pop over to the sample table and let's walk through this guy together. So we'll do it nice and slow. So this is my little sublimation sequin pack, right? So the first thing that you have to do is you have to spend a couple minutes pushing all the sequins over so that all the white ones are facing up, right? And then this one actually has the fusible adhesive already applied to it. So I just would take off the backing paper here and actually put it on the fabric that I'm putting it on. And in this case, you can see here, I made a little pillow here. And so I basically put this on here, and then here I cut the extra around the edges of my print, okay, and put that right on top of my sequin patch. And you can see here, I'm just going to move it with my hands until I've completely covered all of the little white sequins here. And again, as I'm pressing this in with the heat press, and this was before it was stuffed, of course, it was nice and flat. Then it just went on like this. And I used the heat transfer tape just to hold it in place. All right. So this particular one, the instructions for the sequin patch were 355 degrees for 120 seconds. And then once that's done, you have your pattern. So let's go ahead and play with this. Here's the reveal. This is very dramatic. Are you guys ready? Here. Look at that. Happy Halloween. So you can hide it. And then you can reveal it. Isn't that fun? I love that so much.
That's adorable.
So these, I mean, whether, you can do the whole pillow cover that's made out of sequins, or you can do the little patches. You can put them on clothing. You can put them on pillows. But it's really, really kind of a fun way to add a little bit of bling to your projects. Isn't that fun?
I love that. I love the blue. I would have even thought of that, but when I saw the photo, I'm like, that is so cute, and I love the glitter.
Isn't that fun? Yeah. So that's a nice way for you to bling up your sublimation projects.
A little bling there. So by the way, is it Joyce? Yeah, Joyce. Hey, Joyce, nice to see you. She's using your fabric organizing tip of putting fabric onto cardboard inserts and clips while she's watching the live show. So, Joyce, that was a great tip from Tina.
You're going to love it because then when you look in the shelf, you can see all the colors. It makes it so easy to find what you're looking for.
Joyce, could you come over here and work on mine? It's on my list before the holidays, but we'll see.
Too funny.
Everybody's saying thank you. They love it. All right, I'll take it back to you.
You want to do one more? I thought it would be really fun to show you guys quickly how to do sublimation on a glass cutting board. So you're probably thinking, hey, glass doesn't have polyester, so how do I make this magic happen? Well, you can buy cutting boards that are prepared for sublimation, but where's the fun in that? We're actually gonna do our own. So let's pop into Artspira and make a quick design. So again, under favorites, we're in our printing designs. And this time, I'm going to choose this adorable pumpkin season. Look how cute that is. Isn't that adorable? Love it. So we'll say create. Now, my little glass cutting board is 7.75 inches, right? So this is a little bit too small. So let's come up here. And again, I'm going to set a custom size so that my whole print is the correct size. And I'm going to go ahead and make it 8 by 8. So we're just going to go over here, 8. We'll come in here and do 8 again and create. So now I can see kind of how that looks, right? So I'll grab my pumpkin season, and you can either pick a specific number or you can kind of do this visually. It's kind of totally up to you. Again, that layout reset to 0 is my best friend because I seem to make everything crooked when I'm moving it into position. So that's cute. And then let's come back in here and let's put one of those cool gradient fills behind it. So there's this awesome one in lots of dark brown. So it ends up being a great kind of color scheme for fall. Look how cute that is. Isn't that nice? So that's our design. Super done. Now this one, there's a trick in this. All right. So I want to walk you through what we're going to do when we send it to the printer. So ordinarily, we would mirror this, but the application process I'm going to show you, we need to unmirror this one, and I'll show you that at the sample table in just a minute. So again, before we print this for this particular application, I'm going to go to print settings, and I'm going to turn mirror print off, and then I'm going to go ahead and send it over to the printer. Okay. So again, it's a little bit of a trick, but hold on for a minute because you'll understand why I'm doing that in just a second. All right. So we're going to pop back over here. And first of all, I'm going to show you the finished cutting board. How cute is that? Right? So it could be a trivet or a cutting board. You can customize it for the season. And I'll show you some other ways where you can do this with photographs and other things. Okay, so that's a finished project. But let's start with my glass cutting board. So I got these at a discount store. They had these little clear plastic feet on the bottom. So you're going to want to pry those off. You can use your scraping tool. That's a good option. And then you're going to give it a really good clean to get all that adhesive and whatnot off. Okay. Now, remember a minute ago, I said this is kind of a unique application and we want to unmirror their print. Well, we print on the bottom of the cutting board, right? Because it's not food safe. So if I had left it mirrored and I applied it, you wouldn't be able to read it, right? Everything's backwards because we are in fact putting it on the bottom. So that's why in this particular case, we are not mirroring it before we print, all right? So then how does the magic happen where we're able to put sublimation on a glass cutting board? Well, we're actually going to use permanent adhesive vinyl. So this happens to be made out of a polyester material. Now, this is a little bit of a messy project, so maybe a good time to do this in the kitchen. So I'm going to lay this out for a minute because I'm going to show you a couple tricks. Because remember a minute ago when we were doing the candle wrap, I said typically with adhesive vinyl, it's basically you got one shot to get it in there, right? But we're going to spray, again, the bottom of it with application fluid. So this is any of you who have done signage work, you know, you spray this on and then you put the decals in. I've used it at home when I'm putting that cling stuff on my windows. And so you just spray it on the glass, and then I pre-cut a square of this permanent adhesive vinyl on the ScanNCut to that 7.75 inch square. And I'm just pulling off the backing paper. And then because I have this fluid on here, I get some play, right? So I can kind of move it around a little bit. And so I don't have to get it perfect the very first time. See how I could lift it up really easily there, and I could reposition it as many times as I need to get it on here perfectly. That's the beauty of using that application fluid. And then when you get it to this point, you're going to take another paper towel and your scraper tool. And I actually kind of hold it down with my finger on one side, and then you just squeegee out all that liquid. And so then you actually have the adhesive of the vinyl now sticking to the back side of the glass. But that application fluid gave me a lot more play and a lot more time to get all that stuff in place. Does that make sense?
It does. Right.
So then I'm just going to take a paper towel and I want to dry up all the excess, because again, if you try and put your sublimation print on this when it's wet, it'll smear the print. So maybe let it air dry for a minute or two. And then you'll basically take your sublimation print that you have ready to go. Let me grab it from the printer. So it looks just like this, okay? And then again, this is a time when I would take out my scissors and I would cut away a lot of this excess. Oh my gosh, we get to use so many crafting tools in today's episode. This was fun. All right. And so then this is going to go directly against that permanent adhesive vinyl. And once again, I'm going to get my heat transfer tape and I'm going to tape that really good. I typically do it on at least 2 of the sides, and depending if I think I'm going a little bit crooked, I can put it on the 4 sides. But that's just going to make sure that nothing moves in the heat press. Now, for this one, the heat pressing is a little different than what we've done in the past, right? So remember, again, we're going to have butcher or parchment paper under it and over it, but it's going to go in the heat press like this with the glass side facing up. And you're going to cover it again with the other parchment paper. And what's going to happen in the heat press is as the glass heats, it's going to pull the sublimation ink through that permanent adhesive vinyl so that you can see it on the right side. So again, application instructions for this one, we're not mirroring our design. We're putting on that permanent adhesive vinyl, and then we're going to press it at 385 degrees for 220 seconds. So it cooks for quite a long time. And it's going to be hot like fire. So you're going to want to make sure that when you open up the heat press, you're using heat gloves or a hot pad or something so you don't burn yourself. And because we have the glass side up, you can open the heat press and make sure that your print has come all the way through the vinyl. If they're like on one of my heat presses, it's hard for me to get it completely level with this in there. And so it would develop half of it really well and the other half not so well. So then I would just turn it around in the heat press and close it up at that same temperature for another 60 seconds. And that would be all I would need to get my design to come through. And I made a couple of these. Here's another one, but here's that little pumpkin we played with earlier. Look how cute that is.
Oh, that's so cute. The other ones, Joyce and Cheryl say it looks so 60s. So 60s, the pumpkins. These.
And by the way, we've also got Christmas coming up, so it's also a fun technique to use with photographs, right?
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's a great idea. Get that family photo.
Yeah, so you can use it for, photographs of the dog, the cat, the grandkids, the kids, or theming for the holidays. And really, it's a very inexpensive project. And like I said, we're talking about 5 minutes worth of time. So really kind of a fun feature. Now, when it does come out of the heat press, just to finish up, the sublimation paper will be stuck to the back. It won't come off smoothly. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it in the sink with some warm water and let it sit there for about a minute or so to soften the paper. And then you're going to take that same scraper tool and dislodge. And sometimes like this one, it just peeled right off as a single sheet. Other times you kind of have to scrape the excess away all the way across. And then when that's done, you'll dry it up and then you'll reattach those little rubber feet. But really easy and a cool way to do something super custom for the holidays.
They love it. They love it. So there are a few questions. So let's start with, I think I missed one. So, oh, here it is, Amanda. Amanda wanted to know, can you edit the separate designs in the free version of Artspira? And I'm going to say yes.
Yes.
But by the way, while you were chatting, I opened Artspira to see what's there. And guess what? There's a new educational tool, it says. That's kind of cool. And it says you can check for videos, things like that. So when you check for videos, it says, please update your version. Please update to version 2.3.4. That's easy to remember. So make sure you update the new version in case you're not getting these. But yeah, Amanda, you can do a ton of editing in there for under the free version. You should play with it. It's really fun.
It is fun. It's addictive.
It is addictive. I get so encaptured when I'm playing with a photograph and I'm using all the matrix parts. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Lorraine, can you use Artspira on your computer? No.
No.
Okay, Darlin and a couple others wanted to know, application fluid, is it a brother product? Can you tell us what it is, or will you tell me what it is so I can put it on the website?
I'll tell you what it is so you can put it on the website. It is not a brother product, but you can buy it at like the home improvement store. It's really made to help for signage and putting those window clings on.
Perfect. Yeah, Suzanne wants to know. So guys, I showed you, if you go to angelawolf.com and click on events, go to Tina's episode. You can watch the replay there, and you can also download that beautiful sheet she put together. And I will talk to Tina after the live show, find out where you can get this stuff and put it on there. I love that application fluid. That was perfect. Everyone says, hey. Kim, is there a new machine coming out this year? I'm deciding if I need one or not. Yeah, the Avenir.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The Avenir. If you're asking about ScanNCut, no. The Avenir is the coveted, long-awaited, and a lot of great things coming out of that. Yeah, so everyone who's looking for where you can get that fluid, as soon as I'm done with the live, I will drop that in there. I have the website open, ready to drop it in, and you can already go and download the whole sheet that she gave you, which is awesome. I know, so cute. All right, let's see. What other questions? Anne says, what a great idea. Yes, I know. Oh, Donna's going to do that with her new grandson on the cutting board. You know, I feel so bad. I had a great cutting board that my sister gave me, and it had a beautiful W for Wolf on there. And the paper started to peel off. I mean, I had it for years. She gave it to me from a store. She didn't make it. And I threw it out. I should have saved the cutting board and like soaked it in water and used it again because it was one of my favorites. Oh, now I got to go buy one.
Oh, you know what? By the way, if any of you try that technique, and it isn't too hard, but if by some chance you fail on your first attempt, you can use the scraper to scrape off that piece of vinyl and start over again. You don't have to replace the cutting board.
Oh, that's even better. And somebody was asking, does it say on the sheet, and I was looking on the sheet if it says what kind of vinyl. You said permanent adhesive vinyl, but is there anything specific they have to look for on that?
So that's another one. I'll give you the brand for that and the application fluid when we finish up here.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. After the live show, I'll get with Tina and I'll drop those right into the PDF. So you can download it now, and I'm going to add more to it this afternoon. How's that? Oh, great teamwork. Evelyn, what does the heat press look like? Well, mine is not in camera view, but it's not a brother project either. So a heat press is just do an internet search. For shirts, it's kind of like a one that comes down. Are you using like the t-shirt type, Tina?
Yeah, I have a variety of heat presses, but yeah, the one I used for this it actually has an automatic pressure sensor, so it comes straight down vertically. But I also have the clamshell type where you lift open the lid. It looks kind of like a waffle iron, but for other things.
See, all this stuff that I used to use in the kitchen, I don't need anymore. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You know, don't use your kitchen utensils. All right. And let's see. Oh, Ann says, don't forget to save your transfer paper. Oh, Lorraine, you want to know, can you use Artspira on the iPad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fishernet. Oh, I love your name, Fishernet. What heat press is Tina using? It's not a Brother product, but I'll talk to her afterwards. And also just do an internet search on that too. How's that?
Yeah, you don't really need anything special in a heat press. It just needs to heat up to 400 degrees and have a timer.
Yeah, perfect. Oh my gosh, Tina, these projects were amazing. Everybody's loving them. And as you all know, Brother Social goes back. So even if you're watching the replay, or even if you watch the live and you're watching it again, and you have questions, drop them in the chat. The easiest place for me to read them is on the YouTube. I kind of scan those. The Facebook kind of gets way down there. So, but drop your questions in. Brother will answer them, or come on our next live show next Tuesday, and you can ask questions then, and I'll bring them back to Tina if I can, if I don't know them. All right, Tina, you've inspired me. These are fast, easy projects, and I'm pretty sure I can get them done before Halloween.
I know you can. I have confidence in you.
But I'm actually thinking, I was thinking of what Judy's doing. I want to go wrap my fabric. I've got a whole stack, after watching you, a whole stack of little pieces that, you know, and they might be from an old project, but I love the color. Might use them again. That was one of your best tips. If you guys missed that, you can go back and watch Tina on there when we talked about organizing. I think that was the 1st of September. So, yes. All right, guys. Great to see you. Great to see you. And again, I know some of you are not here because of this awful hurricane. Just know that we're thinking of you, keeping you in our prayers. I hope you're okay. I saw one of the ladies earlier that is a huge Brother fan that said she's safe and her sewing machine is safe. She said, but she felt bad for everyone else, but both were safe. And she said that was like her house, her family, and her sewing machine. So, sewing machines are replaceable, but I'm glad you have it so you can start working on your projects. All right, everybody's saying thank you, Tina. Great show. Hey, your husband earns the Rockstar Video Award today. You killed it. You didn't even have to come and put the quilt back up on the wall.
That's because he hung it in the first place.
Oh, there you go. It's all good now. All right, I'm just making sure that I'm not missing anything else. If I am, I'll go back and watch, and I will upload the things. I'll talk to Tina after the live show. So, all right, everyone. Until next time, happy sewing. Tina, as always, we love your tutorials. Can't wait to see you again.
Thanks. You guys take care.
Bye.